My name is Jean-Christophe Baron, and I'm the CEO of Walibi Belgium. I'm very delighted to welcome you in Walibi Belgium, one of the most famous leisure park in Belgium. First of all, I just want to remind you some figures related to the park. The first one is the attendance of the park. We are approximately with an attendance of 1,450,000 people by year for the site, means for Walibi Belgium, but also for the Walibi water park. The second figure, welcome Stefan. Nice to meet you. The second one is next year, Walibi should have 45 years old. So it should be an anniversary for us, and we will try to be proud of this anniversary. Four times in a row, we won the prize of the best attraction park in Belgium. And we are really proud to get that prize, but also the most sensational park in Belgium. It's part of our DNA, sensation, sensation, sensation. And that's why we are really happy to get the different prizes during the last Diamond Theme Park Awards. This is not obviously a pure coincidence, but a reward for the effort made by my colleagues during a difficult period. As you know, we had a difficult period during the year 2000. But now I'm sure that Walibi could be considered as a famous park on the Belgian market, but also on the Benelux market, and maybe on the European one. With the Pulsar, the power splash manufactured by Mac, we had the chance to win a brass ring award for the new best attraction of the world, and finally we won again the prize and the best Halloween event in Belgium. So I think, and I consider that in Belgium, Walibi Belgium is one of the key players on this market, on the leisure market. The entire team of Walibi Belgium is obviously proud of it. But today, we are here to celebrate the great partnership between Alterface and Walibi. This story began a long time ago, really a long time ago. In fact, more than 15 years ago. We have never broken the link between us, but have never found the real opportunity to work in close collaboration. 2 years ago, Benoit called me to present a nice idea, but I shall revert to it in a few minutes. Let me say some words about the investment plan. In 2017, Walibi Belgium announced its intention to invest more than 100 million to transform the park over a 5-year period. This large-scale investment plan has a clear objective: strengthens Walibi's image as a family leisure park. That's why we have decided to invest in attraction of a more general kind appealing to a broader familial audience. This is not the only thing that we will change in our park in the future. The new, but also the current attraction will be embedded in current zone called the worlds of Walibi. Each one of them will have its own specific character and theme. By the end of the investment plan in 2023, our visitor discover an entirely new park with 8 immersive worlds, where they will be able to escape from reality during one sensational day. What we did so far is the first part of Exotic World. The first part of Exotic World, where we have the Tiki Waka, was also created, or at least decorated, by a famous decorator, Joravision. Thank you, Jan Martin. You see, my friend. The second one was Walibi. We had a team related to the Caribbean style, and in 18 we are going to create 2 new zones, 2 new worlds, Karma World and Fun World. Now I come back to the story between Alterface and us. When Barco came, I had no idea of what should be his proposal. Definitely, I think the last one. He explained the concept, and I directly fell in love with it. I mean the concept. There is no doubt, Popcorn Revenge fits perfectly in the park's renewal strategy. It builds as part of a Karma World, a zone with senses and colors of India. That was the past of Karma World. We refurbish it in this new theme, Indian zone, and this is a reality. And it's really an amazing job made by different suppliers, but I'm not going to talk about these suppliers today. To make this possible, we requested Alterface to create an exciting Victorian cinema style with an innovative touch in terms of ride experience. It was a tough job, but they have met and even exceeded our expectations. This ride combines groundbreaking image and sound technology with erratic movement and stylish, classy decor. Here, before talking about Popcorn Revenge, this was the mood board of Karma World. And when we see the reality, what we really build, it's, I think, a very, very good representation of the mood board, with this part of the Alibaba zone, but also the delicious restaurant with Indian inspiration, and I hope that everybody had the opportunity to taste the color and the flavor of the Indian restaurant. For the Popcorn Revenge, obviously Popcorn Revenge is one of the best attractions we have here in the park, and especially for the Dark Ride. Hopefully, I'm very glad to say that the vehicles for both Dark Rides here were made by were built by ETF, and I really thank ETF for their contribution in this park. A lot of attention went into details on both physical and digital side, which makes Popcorn Revenge a true world premiere. There is currently no such attraction on the market in any other park. It definitely creates new sensation. Here, this is the mood board, the new vehicles for Popcorn Revenge. You will see after the central stage of the ride, the attraction. This is a plan with all things. Here we had an old restaurant, it was a restaurant, and then we created with Joravision a new queue line for the new attraction. All the decoration created in the ride are made by Jora, and we also created a boutique at the end of the attraction, because for us it's really important that visitors could also share with us not only the ride, but also some of the cash. If you are a great player, maybe you will be in the Hall of Fame, but you will see it later when you are going to try it. And by the way, for me, I can say that Popcorn Revenge, it's really a good experience between Alterface, ETF, Joravision, and Walibi Belgium. And I can also add that it's really a place where young and old can have fun together as a family or amongst friends. In this sense, Popcorn Revenge is a perfect addition to the park's portfolio and takes example of how the park will evolve in the near future. Now, I really want to thank Alterface for its amazing job during all the phases, but this project could not be created without the support of the strong partners with Joravision and ETF. And I want also thank my colleague for the good cooperation between them and Alterface team. I want also thank you Laurence Piquet. I don't know, Laurence. Thank you very much, because it was really a nice idea, and I know that as a creative director, you can be proud of the outcome of Popcorn Revenge. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I'm in a rush, I'm in a hurry, so I have to quit you right now, but do not hesitate if you have any question. My colleagues, Justin and Marie-France, are over there, and you can ask them a lot of questions if you have any question concerning the worlds of Walibi, concerning the Dark Ride, concerning specific things about Walibi. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jean-Michel. So, thank you for spoiling my presentation. I mean, there is no presentation anyway, so okay, I will just go for the thank you. So obviously this Dark Ride was made by a lot of people. Jean-Christophe mentioned the Alterface team, and I think it's the right moment to make a big thank you even from within the company. But also now I will not talk too much because otherwise you'll be totally fed up with me before tonight, and I can tell you I'm going to talk tonight again, so sorry for you. Luckily you had the chance to drink a bit, so that's fine. So now we have the partners coming to present. So we will start with Joravision, that will present their approach and how they've been working with us. Then ETF will come to present a little bit about that, and then we'll finish with Barco. And then once this is done, promise, you're going to see the ride. If it's still have electricity by then, but I mean, I hope we will be able. So maybe we start first, Joravision? Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Benoit. Do you also have a pointer for me? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So, I just want to start with also from my side to thank you for joining us today to experience this great ride together. As Benoit mentioned, I can imagine that it feels like a long day. It feels like a sort of time-sharing presentation that you need to sit through before doing the ride, but we're almost there. So today we have the pleasure from the Jora side to tell you more about the theming design and theming production that went into the making of Popcorn Revenge, of course in collaboration with all the partners. Before we dive into that, I just want to quickly introduce the Joravision team that we have here today. So in the audience we have our ferocious leader and owner of the company, Jan Maarten. Next to him is Jung Ren, our Sales and Marketing Director of Asia. We have Ernst Pels, who is our Production and Project Manager, who is also responsible for the theming production. So if you have any questions regarding that, he is sitting right there. We have my good friend and colleague Simeon, who was the Creative Director for the theming design, and myself being responsible for product development. Just to give you a brief introduction to Joravision, I think that most of you already know us. So we are a leading creative design and build company, and we do a lot of leisure projects, very broad. And we are based in the Netherlands, and we have been around for more than 28 years. But what's really the core of our existence, what we really love to do, without diving into the broadness of the leisure market, is really to create immersive and story-based attractions, dark rides in specific, and immersive experiences. And we do this for theme parks, for zoos, for family entertainments, and the museums and standalone tourist attractions. So what kind of services do we offer? So we have our own in-house design department with over 15 passionate and creative team members who work every day to create all these amazing projects. We have our own in-house theming production, which is a great combination to have both because it really strengthens both. And then of course we have the necessary project management to tackle every project within budget, of course, and time, which almost every time happens, but not always. So pictures say more than 1,000 words, so just let me show you some of the projects that we've recently done where all these services come together. So as already mentioned, and you will experience that after the presentation, is the new Tikiwaka and Exotic Zone, for which we were responsible for the theming production execution. So the concept design was delivered by Walibi and CDA, and we took it from there to the schematic design and eventually the full production execution. It's a beautiful new zone that you will experience later on. Another example of a attraction is also for the CDA group in 2017. We did the complete concept design for the Pegasus Express coaster. So the building, all the queue lines, the stories, the experience that guests have, all the themed elements and experience alongside the track were designed by Joravision. Another example of a recent delivery, more in the immersive experience corner, is the new video mapping experience that we did, a 13-minute show for one of the largest wine museums in France, a very immersive experience. Another great example is in 2017 we did a traveling exhibition. So we did the full design and the production execution on this one. And this actually tells stories. It's a walkthrough experience about all different Louis Vuitton trunks. This was a private collector who had like hundreds of trunks in his own private safe. And he actually wanted to exhibit this, so we took every one of them, and everyone tells a unique story, which you can experience in this walkthrough. Then, of course, you have seen this a couple of times already today, it's the Basilisk Ride, another great collaboration together with Alterface, for which we also got the FIA Award for Outstanding Achievement in a limited budget. Another great example of a partnership with Alterface is the Auditorium, where we did together the concept design and the theming production execution on this great little experience. And this is a little bit of a teaser that I can give you today. So currently we're also working on a new full dark ride for Europa Park, which is going to open end of September. We're currently now full in production and actually flying out tomorrow to start the on-site installation, for which we were responsible together with the team of Europa Park for the full concept design and schematic design, and now doing the theming production execution. But of course, all these projects start with a nice concept and story behind it, so that's my little bridge to pass the mic over to my colleague Simeon to tell the story about the theming design behind Popcorn Revenge.
So I will tell a little bit more about the design phase of this project. Any project we start always with the storyline. And this project, the storyline was developed by Alterface as part of the IP of the Popcorn Revenge. But we also helped to integrate that into the new zone, the Karma World Zone, which has an old Indian thematic style. So what is actually the story of Popcorn Revenge? Visitors find themselves in this new zone, the Karma World, and in this zone there's a movie theater, which we named the Grand Maharaja Theater, which is quite logical because in India you have a very rich Bollywood movie industry. So that was also the link to this theme. The style of this theater is a combination of Indian ornamental styles, but also British Victorian styles, because India was a British colony in the past. So that made a very nice combination for the theming. Of course, there's something completely wrong in this attraction, like in many dark rides and attractions, and in this case, it's the popcorn who came to life. And they came out of the popcorn machine and they start making a mock in the whole theater. Because they realize they miss always the end of the movie. So and that is where we as visitors come in, because we have to eliminate those popcorns with a gun, which we also themed to topping dispenser in different flavors. And that will also come back in the queue with different posters to explain that backstory of the gun. So besides the gun story, we also thought that the ride vehicle should make sense. So we come up with a mini backstory for the ride vehicle, and we call this the drive-in seat, as in the past there was a sort of vehicle which moved guests to the different theater rooms. And this is also coming back in the queue line in different posters to advertise for this new invention. You also see this in the vehicle itself, because we have a sticker on the back, and in the front of the vehicles you see the movie. Each vehicle has a different movie title to indicate where the vehicle is driving to. We also implemented a mini backstory for the popcorn machine. Because when you're driving in the cinema, how would you get your popcorn? So we designed a sort of shower above the guests, which is there to drop the popcorn into the buckets of the visitors. But now there's something completely wrong, because the popcorns have come alive, they crawl out of the pipes. So we'll see that in the first scene that all those pipes are broken. We also implemented a mini backstory for the central room, which is the lobby of the theater. And above this lobby is the projection room. And the popcorns have also crawled through the ceiling to this projection room. This has caused the ceiling to collapse. So all the projectors and the film rolls and TVs and stuff like that are falling through the ceiling into the main lobby of the theater. Then we added also some graphical details and jokes. For example, in the first scene you'll see some lemonade, but if you look closer, the labels of the lemonades are also designed to have links to the popcorn theme, with Corny Cola and other brands we invented. Another graphical detail you'll find is that every room has its own custom designed wallpaper, which is linked to the theme of the movie. So when you are in the pirate movie, for example, then you see this pirate pattern on the walls. So once we were all positive about this theming design direction, we get into the schematic design phase, and that is where we actually make a lot of detailed drawings, the walls, the floors, the ceilings. And finally we made a 3D model to check if there's any missing blind spots in the thematic design. And we got into production. And Robin will explain a bit more about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to also show you a bit about the theming production, because what you normally only see is of course a nice concept design phase, and then you see the end result. But actually between that, of course, there's a lot of work done by different parties, and in this case also for the theming production. So it's just a couple of slides. When we start a theming production, we always start with the prefabrication or pre-production in our facilities. So in this case, specifically for popcorn revenge, it was quite a blast, because a lot of the props that we have in there are all custom designed, so they need to be custom built from scratch without having any knowledge how things would work. So in this case, Ernst had also his challenge here to create some of the props that you will see today, such as these projectors and this big popcorn machine. And of course, a part of that phase is also the testing of some of the mechanical effects that we have in the ride as well. So it's a little teaser, but you don't know where it is, so it will still instruct you on the ride itself. So when we finish the prefabrication, and of course we take everything, we take it to site, and the on-site installation starts of all the themed elements, as you can see, with the team. And at the end, of course, it's the most fun phase, is where you really go into detailing it and placing the props exactly where we want to have them for the guests to see them as they need to be seen. And that's also where all disciplines come together, with all the themed lighting, with the ETF vehicles, with the programming of all the AV, the projectors, etc. Everything needs to be linked seamlessly together to create this great and awesome guest experience. And as you can see from the top left, placing the props is really a difficult work to do. We just throw them on the ground, and in this case it's all okay and fine. So that's quickly in it. So thank you.
Also, on behalf of the ETF team, I would like to welcome all of you to Walibi today. I would like to give a short presentation on ETF, and then automatically we'll come, of course, to the popcorn ride. If the cursor works. Yes. This just gives a brief view of our premises. We are expanding at this moment because of the work. At the end of this year as well, the office as the factory will be extended by in totally 1,500 square meters. Oh, that was quick. This is a little bit about myself. I'm already quite long involved with ETF, and yeah, it reads enough. A little bit about history of ETF. Our company was founded in '51. We started with textile machinery, which has nothing to do with amusement. In '97, we started with ride systems, so we are now about 22 years in this industry active. In 2009, we were awarded as one of the 50 best managed companies in the Netherlands. In 2014, we became a shareholder of Alterface. And today, this is our group of companies. We are active in machine building and we are active in the amusement industry. You see our company Machine Fabriek is in the machine sector, and that's linked with a company in the UK. And Ride Systems is somewhere linked with Alterface in Belgium. What is this? What do we aim? We want to build family attractions. This is the other one. We have about 75 employees. Most people work already quite a long time at ETF. We are a financially healthy company, which makes it able to pre-finance also in projects. Those are our strongest sides. We are very strong in engineering as well, mechanical, electrical, software. We do that all in-house. Fabrication of pieces we do mostly out of house, but in the region. Then we do everything in our shop floor to assemble everything, and we test it, especially for the trackless vehicle. We built a special test hall. And of course we do the installation on site, and where the customers want, we do the service if they require that from ETF. What we try to aim is that we want to be flexible. Yes, we have some standard products, but as you already could see from Walibi, the design of the vehicle is always customer adapted. It should be a feasible ride. It's nice to think about something which is futuristic, but it should be feasible at the end. Of course, counts. People are carried in a vehicle, so it must be safe. So that's why we designed it, of course, according mostly the European rules. It's the EN 13840, and mainly every attraction is TÜV approved. It can be, of course, other inspection bodies, but in Europe we see that TÜV is very strong. This is where you find the countries where we are represented at this moment. Of course, we are quite strong in Europe. America and Canada are still a little bit behind, but that's increasing. And at this moment, the top market is in the Far East, after it has been a while in the Middle East in the past years. So you find us in the meantime with our ride vehicles everywhere. This is just a presentation of a booth, but this showed that we also work together with, for example, a university. Here, this was the winning car of the solar race a couple of years ago, and we cooperated with those students because technology-wise we have similar items, like their wheels and motors are integrated, their battery-powered vehicles, and there is more. This is just an example of how we advertise on the market. Some of you, of course, know it as press. And I just have some pictures of rides which we built. I like this one because that was built for the expo. That was a temporary ride, but it was so popular that people were waiting 3-4 hours to rally 5 minutes in a ride. This is a project in Korea, and as we are with Alterface together, I can say this was a ride with Alterface also, an interactive one. This is a total different ride. This is a standard ride. This one was built at the Europa Park in Germany, one of the few rides which are not of the Mack family. This is a pedal car on top of the rails. This is at Liseberg, when we were there a couple of years ago with EOS. I think a number of you have seen this ride. This is one of our Dubai rides. This is again an interactive ride together with Alterface. Then this ride has been on the picture before. It had some history with Alterface, but it also has a history with ETF because this is Mouse's Chocolat. And I can say basically after we built this ride, really we came into the picture in the world. This was really where we became more booming in the amusement industry after the delivery of this ride. And this is what we do also together with Alterface. In the meantime, we have built over 20 what we call mystic mover rides. Sorry, here is dry. And then 2 TE awards 2 years ago with Efteling, Symbolica. And the nice thing of both of the rides which I present is that as well Symbolica as the next one are built on the trackless multi-mover, the same vehicle as we will see today. And this is the other one, and of course Alterface and Joravision involved on this one. So hopefully this year we can go for the third one in a row. And that brings me more or less to the multi-mover at the Erratic Ride, and why the multi-mover, our trackless vehicle, is chosen in that ride. The first one, and I will come back to that on the layout of the ride of Erratic, is of course the different route positions compared to a track-bound ride. What is for operators very important, there will be slow days and there are peak days. And in slow days you don't want to drive with all vehicles around. The unique thing from the trackless vehicle is that you get the vehicle in and out just in minutes without complicated tools to break down the track or whatever. You have better evacuations than in the track bound because you have your power on board. Do you have normally a ride with a track and the power is, or there is an accident or whatever, you have to evacuate the people in the ride. In nearly all the cases, we can drive back the vehicles to the station and people can easily evacuate in the station. Low maintenance cost. We nearly have any mechanical part on board. We don't have bus rails which have to be replaced every year. And operation costs are low because we are not using extra power during the day. The vehicles are powered up during the night, so that's night power, which is mostly cheaper and doesn't demand the park to put extra power into the ride. And of course, reliable, high uptime. Benoit mentioned already that the start of the ride gave the maximum capacity. That I think is also because the vehicles which we produce are extremely reliable. Erratic Ride is a long story. I mean, the first time we have been speaking about Erratic Ride with Benoit and Stefan and others, the first concept was completely different from what it is today. And by talking and ideas from Alterface, we came up to what it is today. And yes, as partners being a long time together, it's easier to talk to each other and come to conclusions and some new ideas. Regrettable, I didn't calculate that the screen would be a cinema screen, so we lost some lines on the drawing. But I try to explain a little bit on this sheet what is Erratic Ride and why is it Erratic Ride. And now I'm starting to go with my cursor. This is where we come into the station. We have one pre-scene and we have one final. Next to that there are 5 other scenes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The pre-scene is there. From the pre-scene, the vehicles go to a center. And in the center all the vehicles collect which are in the ride. And from this center, the vehicles individually go in one of the scenes. Erratic. It doesn't say I'm going from the pre-scene in C1, in 2, in 3, in 4. No, this vehicle could go immediately there. Or the next vehicle could immediately go there. And we build it in a slope. So we have an option to go from one scene to another scene. We can drive clockwise. We can drive anti-clockwise. You're not going to visit all the scenes. You're missing one if you will do it. So every time you visit this ride, you will get a different experience. Basically, you should ask now for a prize at the end of the day to somebody who tells me how many options there are at the end of the day. People of ETF, Joravision and Alterface are excluded. But basically, make a guess how much combinations there are. This is erratic. It means nothing is the same. And that's why Alterface and ETF call it Erratic Ride. You will have to experience it, but I think it's good you know that it's really erratic. Of course, I have to thank also our colleagues of Joravision. You see the vehicle over there. Again, they did a marvelous design for the ETF. I mean, a customer asked to go budget friendly. That means that we provide decoration which basically is more or less a standard. And Joravision is every time, they did the same with Basilisk, able to retune that standard vehicle into something very special, and they did again for this ride at Walibi. Now this gives the view again, and now you see the rooms a little bit more clear with the teams to the right. And I thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon. Everybody still awake? Nice and warm in here. So, Barco. We are a manufacturer, which means we provide technology to enable the Joravisions, the ETFs, the Alterfaces of this world to make great rides for you. And we do this in many industries. And that's actually what I'm going to start with, is just give a little overview of what Barco as an industry does. This last scene is from our headquarters here in Kortrijk, which is about 1 hour drive. If you're ever in the neighborhood, ping me, you're very welcome. So as you could see, we are in manufacture, we provide technology that enables companies, integrators to build great solutions. They go into we are in the cinema world, we are in the live entertainment, healthcare, and into the corporate world. Just, oh, come on. I'm a little bit slower than I expected. Live concerts, more and more you see people, it's more than just going to a live gig. If you go to Justin Timberlake, if you go to Lady Gaga, there's more than 100 projectors in the ceiling, creating that entertainment. If you go to a concert of Muse, there is live tracking. What does Benoit do in his events? He's tracking continuously, creating that entertainment. It's happening in live entertainment, it's happening in theme parks. This went automatic. I pressed a little bit fast on the buttons. I'm sorry for that. Cinema, same thing. When you're talking 3D, we didn't discuss any 3D rides today, but it's always, it's coming from cinema, it's going into the live entertainment. Corporate, sharing information, working together on the large pictures. If you work for a corporate world, something wrong with the buttons here. You work in the corporate world, if you want to show a Coca-Cola logo, it better be the right red or you're out of the way. If you want to show intellectual property in theme park world, it better be right or you're out of the way. Healthcare, very high resolution. This is not anything related to the themed entertainment world. Just wanted to show you almost all the mammography displays in the world are Barco. Almost in digital operating rooms, it's also Barco. Large overviews, security into theme parks. If you go, not here in Walibi, there's a few theme parks around the world, all the amount of cameras to monitor what's going on. Looped in with all the maintenance equipment, you talked about how to keep control, making sure it's low maintenance. There's always somewhere that this is being monitored, being controlled. There is technology behind this. So, in themed entertainment, we're all about enabling our partners to create moments that enrich lives. I'm not going to talk about what's inside the ride, I will just give you some more examples of where we play. First one here, Paris. You might have heard about Les Ateliers de Lumière. It is a Van Gogh, now it's Van Gogh, it used to be Gustav Klimt. Open for 7 months, they had more than 1 million visitors. By now, this year, they'll probably reach 1.5 million visitors in a space of the size of 3,000 square meters. The park here was talking about 1.5 million on a few acres of land. People, kids, sitting on the ground to watch paintings of Gustav Klimt. You could not keep them silent in a museum for 10 minutes before that. Now they stay for hours. That's creating an engaging experience. The projectors on the ceiling here are exactly the same projector technology that is used in the ride. It's the same make, it's the same model. Interactivity. This is where it all started in the collaboration between Alterface and Barco. The projector is a mean. We needed a partner that had the brain power, that wanted to do the investigation. How do we build something together that takes it to the next level, that makes an image come to life? That's what Alterface and Barco do together. And that's where we want to work together in the future, do more research on how we can do this on more different technologies. We're not doing the huge rides here, but this is in China. If you want to, and we have a few others like that, there is now a new dome open in Elementa in Germany, creating the very big impact towards the visitors. How do you tell your story without an image? It's very hard. People fall asleep unless you make it moving, unless you make it immersive. This is where technology comes to play. I will be silent about Mouse and Chocolat. We've had it on the screen too many times. But then, on the right here, Popcorn Revenge, we just delivered the goods. Basically, that's all we've done. People have asked me, a few of the press have asked me before, so how was collaboration on this ride? Well, no, the work all happened here. It all happened on Basilisk. This is where we really cooperated together, looked at which element would fit where, how do you make it winning awards, basically, because that's what Alterface has done. They've designed something that wins awards, that makes people come back and want to come back continuously. And that's what we've copied into Popcorn Revenge. All the credit goes to the team of Alterface and EDF. And then of course, Popcorn Revenge, that's the only picture you will see from me about it. I think I'm the one standing in between going to the ride, so I will not hold you much longer. So that was it. If you have any further questions on what Barco has done in these rides or on our technology, Peter is here, Sylvia is here, we are all here until after dinner, so ask them at that moment. I'll leave the words to Anja now.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask the speakers to come up to us and applause for Peter. Interesting presentations all, thank you very much. If the speakers can join us here in front, and then we can get some questions from all of you. Geraldine will go around with the microphone.
I'm Martin from InPark Magazine. I ask a lot of questions. And so I have two. One, if you can talk about the control systems, the ride control and the show control systems, and if those are proprietary to any of you. And then also I'm curious, do we know why the popcorn came to life? Should we be worried?
Okay, why the popcorn? I mean, we don't know, and who cares? Actually, it's a tradition in some part that I want absolutely to tell you what things are happening. We don't care. I mean, it happens because it happens.
About ride control, I can say the following basically. The vehicles basically have their own program. They are really independent vehicles. That's the advantage of trackless vehicles. And the ride control you can see basically as like a kind of traffic control. In this type of ride we still work with a wire in the floor and basically see it as there is a traffic light. We put power on a certain part of the track, yes or no, and that's how we control the vehicles and where they're able to go and not to go. At the same time, the vehicles are communicating with Alterface control. So basically we know exactly where the vehicles are at which spot, and we communicate that communication with Alterface so that the show and light and whatever can be started at the proper moment. Yes, simply like that. I hope that answers it.
Yes, thank you. So is this the Salto show control system, or is this different?
So basically the Salto is actually some sort of a maestro, some sort of master of ceremony, and actually it needs to make sure that the synchronization of the vehicle is well respected. Because actually what happens is that you're every time injecting one vehicle in the traffic. So it means that this vehicle needs to adjust to all the position of the other vehicles and what will be the future trajectory from each and every other vehicle. So basically there's some sort of dynamic resynchronization of the ride at any given moment, just to make sure that they are not crashing into in each other, which is not possible because of the safety system of the vehicles, but it might induce some delay in the ride. So basically, that's the way it works. Our ride, our system takes into account the position of 7 vehicles, in this case, at the same time, which is something unique, because every time you have some choreographic figures involving 7 vehicles at any given time.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
You don't want to try it?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think so. So let's go. No?
Limit the whole basically, and also the latency if you pull, that it